What's good, everyone? I'm Venomous Stare, and I am going to be bringing you an exciting Terran versus Zerg today. It is a best of three. It is between this German in the bottom right of Newkirk, HeroMarine. My mouse is acting up, so the observing is a bit jerky. And Solar, the Korean Zerg, a very, very strong player, a guy who has made it extraordinarily far in several major lands. And he's very charismatic. He speaks a bit of English. And we're going to jump right into things. We didn't really miss anything in the first minute of the game. It was your incredibly standard, hatchery first, Reaper expand, the thing that you see every single other TVZ pretty much. So what does HeroMarine do after he makes the Reaper? He makes a Marine to ward off scouting, and then he makes a reactor. Now, this Marine is particularly good on Newkirk, and I know that this map isn't in the pool anymore, but hell, it wasn't in the pool anymore after it got removed in Heart of the Swarm, so maybe it'll be back a third time. But the point is that the Marine is good because the Overlord, it really is in a tough position here, as we see a quick third CC coming out here for HeroMarine. So that probably means, judging by what we see so far, HeroMarine's going to be doing what I like to call the innovation build, where you essentially get a super fast third CC, so you can get 3 CC Mule, and you basically just play defensive off of the back of Hellions. So since the Overlord is pretty much going to go here, or it's going to want to skirt kind of up in this top region to park itself back here, or back here, all you have to do is make one anti-air unit in the early game because it can't really traverse all the way through your main base. So this is not a very good map for Zerg Overlords. Also, another thing, and look at that, Solar even got Overlord speed because he knew it would be really hard to scout. So what does Solar see? Well, he sees the very quick third base, and he sees, what do you know, the Hellions. So Solar has played against builds like this 1,000 times, and what these builds are meant to do is just limit what Zerg can do as far as economy. The last thing you want to let Zerg do is a huge generalization about StarCraft 2, is just let Zerg sit on their side of the map unharassed for 10 minutes. Now, Hellions aren't really the kind of units that are going to be able to kill queens, and they're not the kind of units that are really going to be able to get, force the issue really. They can try to run around queens, but you're going to take damage, and then you have to worry about potential SimCity or any army at all, or queens at another base. So it's just really not good to run in with Hellions, because if you do lose them, you're completely screwed because you've lost all of your map control. So that's why you don't see players kind of give away Hellions like you see them fight aggressively. Give away is not really the right word. You don't really see people trade their Hellions that much. They want to really keep them alive here. And that is because they are very good at doing what we see HeroMarine trying to do, which is limit creep spread. HeroMarine snuck in a Reaper there, very nice. He's going to hop up both of those cliffs like Tony Hawk, and he's going to get to see if there's a Roach Warren, a Baneling Nest. He'll see the lair timing. Wow, Solar made the lair right in front of him. That's interesting, because obviously, it's not like he just had to have that lair right then. I feel like he could have just delayed it for a couple more seconds and hid that information. Might have been better, but regardless, Solar's getting 1-1. He's getting lots of drones and a Baneling Nest. He's starting to take his gas over at this base and break off this little top cooling tower. Now this is interesting because if this cooling tower falls, sometimes Terran will just do like a drop push here and then like basically just do a parade push over here at this third and then just up down with Marines. So it's kind of interesting that Solar would break that. As it stands, he's continuing to try to push out creep spread, and the third base that HeroMarine made way back in the early game is alive and kicking. And if we go to income, both players are doing very well. 1-1 is about to finish for Solar. That's very nice, because anytime you have to fight Terran Bio, which, if you don't know, if you're a complete newbie, Bio is what comes out of the barracks. So Marine Marauder is usually what you hear about whenever you hear the word Bio, and then it's often accompanied with medevacs. 1-1 and combat shields is on the way for HeroMarine, but it looks like he's going to do a nice little stem pressure here before that even finishes. So the army of the Zerg player in the middle of the map, HeroMarine drops. This is a great drop map for Terran because of how short the air rush distance is. Spawning pool being gunned down. Solar's 1-1 lings aren't going to be enough. And oh my goodness, no spawning pool. So Solar, for the next, 60 seconds, is complete. I think it might be 65. Is completely without the ability to make Zerglings. He's completely without the ability to make Queens. He is pretty much unit blocked. And look at that, he's trying to make drones. Of course, he's restarted the pool. And HeroMarine can continue to be aggressive because Solar is in this weird position where he can't really make anything. And Baneling speed is not even done yet, so HeroMarine is in a great position to really do some damage here, as everything is really going wrong for Solar here, and it's all due to HeroMarine's excellent positioning here. And once again, HeroMarine's going to be aggressive, splits up those units beautifully. Nice Marine splits there. Notice he left the Hellbats out in front, and the Zergling AI will naturally clump up, try to surround the Hellbats, even when they're being healed by Medivacs, which is extremely inefficient. So as Terran, you can throw in some Hellbats into your mid-game compositions, and it really fouls the Zerg up. And we notice what HeroMarine really did there was just used his Hellions from the early game that he used very effectively, and didn't piss away and just transform them once he got the armory. Of course, if you're new to the game, you don't have to get Hellions or Hellbats out of the armory, or out of the factory rather. You can get one or the other and then switch them back and forth once you have an armory. HeroMarine is going to continue to clear out creep spread. It is very important to clear out creep spread because Zerg gets vision and a speed boost on creep, and units like Banelings really have to have the creep spread boost to make connections onto certain units like Marines. Failed counterattack there, as the Terran player was doing a very good job of keeping a few units back. This is very good. It's to keep some units here, especially a couple mines right at the front door of the supply depot, as we see hidden Banelings here for Solar. As HeroMarine is dropping around, wasting Banes, and ooh, he's going to find this, and that was a really big counterattack because Solar is struggling here. He doesn't have Spire or anything really to go into. He's trying to tech into Hive, but notice he hasn't got Pathogen Gland, so he's trying to do that with that Infestor. Make no mistakes, guys, as we see the top part of that counterattack being pressed off. This is a desperation move to try to tech into Hive like this with no supporting cast. No mutas to take care of. He's basically just going straight into Ultra, I would guess, because there's nothing really that the Hive has to offer that would be good without any Infestors, because he can't go Broodlord with that Infestor, really. He wouldn't do that. You know, of course, he doesn't have a Spire either. You know, he doesn't have a Roach Warren even. He's pretty obviously just trying to go into Ultra Ling Bane. As we see another attack here, Stim Bio, as lots of Marines being put forward here. Players are about even in upgrades, and the Widow Mines spring up there. A little bit costly, as a lot of Bio dies actually. And it looks like HeroMarine will actually be pushed back again as he unburrowed all of those mines and took a bit of a bad engagement, but it is okay as he is getting this 4th base. And the Zerg player, once again, even though it looks like he's holding pretty well and hanging in there, we have to consider HeroMarine's supply advantage and his constant cavalcade of units that he's throwing down the Zerg's throat. 3-3 is on the way for HeroMarine, and that is an absolute death nail for Zerg with 2-2. So hard to deal with. HeroMarine, again, putting these mines in a great position, making it very hard to engage. More Banes coming forward, and HeroMarine is being forced to retreat, but he's going off of creep, and notice as soon as he does that, Solar beam dips, and Solar is still behind in supplies, so yes, he's living, but this base is not alive. It doesn't have creep quite up to it yet, and notice, very importantly, these gases have not been taking, so Solar is trying to tech into Ultra, mining off of a measly 3 gas, and 3 gas is extremely meager whenever you're constantly trying to make Banes, and you're getting these expensive Hive Tech upgrades. And if we look at these Evo chambers, they are suspect, and they are idle. And that's not to say that Solar made a mistake, that's to say that he just didn't have the gas because of the pressure that HeroMarine has been putting on him. The fact that Solar is trying to go for this kind of inadequate unit composition of just Ultra Bane, suboptimal is another way to put it, is not a result of his inadequacy as a player, which of course doesn't exist, he's a phenomenal player, but is a result of HeroMarine's great pressure throughout the game. As you see, HeroMarine drops the top, pushes the mid, essential Terran maneuver there. You Terran newbies, I hope you're taking notes at home. HeroMarine is really putting on a clinic here as he picks up top, and then he pressures the mid. Notice he leads with the Marauders here to counter Banes, but with an Ultra out, these won't really be as much of an issue. But notice there's a visual bug here. The Ultra is attacking as the Banes roll forward. Liberators start to siege, and this Ultra is taking damage, is attacking. It is in what I like to call ice skating mode, where it just kind of skates around comedically. That is a replay bug within the game. It looked normal. So scan coming down here for HeroMarine, and he does try to shoot some tumors, but the Zerg player very intelligently tries to defend some of his creep spread, because once all the creep dies, like right here, and all the Terran can just do is sit right at your front door and push you constantly, it's almost impossible to win, especially without infestors. As the Zerg tries to engage here, but he does so into Liberator Mine, and this is hard for a number of reasons. The extremely strong tech composition that HeroMarine shows, the 3/3 upgrades that HeroMarine has, the lack of infestors that mean that HeroMarine can infinitely kite back, and suddenly Solar is going to abandon this base as he has been pressured constantly at this position all game. And if we look at the supply, look at the supply, look at the supply, as Todd would say, it is extremely bad for the Zerg, as the Zerg basically has been defending all game, and even though he's made plenty of drones, he hasn't really been aggressively being able to make economic moves. As HeroMarine flies into the main, sets up his Venn diagrams at the top of the ramp, and sets up his Marauders and Mines there too. Great move. Pretty bad defeat actually there for HeroMarine, but it is completely inconsequential, as the mining disparity here is laughable, and HeroMarine had a huge army waiting to deflect that counter over there. And notice HeroMarine's producing 10 units at a time, and that was a pretty cool idea what HeroMarine did. As you see a disgusting stream of red come across the map, this will be the death nail. But he set up all the libs on the ramp, as you see a Viper trying to get some energy, and the GG happens. So basically what HeroMarine did was he dropped everything up top, but because he was in this very closed position where it was covered with creep, Solar for the first time in like 5 minutes actually got a hit. But HeroMarine was pretty much just forcing the issue, because all he had to do was rally and do one final last push at this middle base, because as it stands, he was had this one shut down. I'm sure he could have just dropped it again. This one was mined out for all intents and purposes. Same with these two. So I hope you enjoyed. This is a best of 3. Make sure you subscribe for more so you don't miss these subsequent games.